Welcome. In front of me is a ZTE Blade A75, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself and its specifications. So, I just jumped straight into it. And we do have... This ain't new. This has already been cut. And someone just used the scotch tape to pretend like, oh, it's new. Just to kind of prove that, I am going to kind of go through this. I love Polish people. They are always so honest. Goddamn scumbags. So, here's our scotch tape. Just to kind of get the light shining correctly. You can see this is probably the original sticker and this is the scotch tape. Yoink. Peel that off. Okay, there is one more. Got to make sure that, no one figures out that you... Come on. Trying to scam people. Still, you can see there is the original seal. And is that cut? And that's not cut. And this sure as hell is. So I'm not sure what the hell is happening here. No, it is cut. You can see right here. So, yeah, there we go. So it was cut. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh. So we get a screen protector, paperwork, and the device itself. Yeah, let's quickly get a look at that. Checking if there's like any scratches or anything like that on the display. Okay, looks fine. Okay, everything looks fine. Just want to take a look at it as, like I mentioned, this isn't apparently a new device as it was open and someone just used scotch tape to glue it together. But in any case, here we have our charging cable, type C to type A. We get headphones right here. These look disgusting. And we get our power brick, which is a 22.5 watts. That's not a bad charger included in a box. So certainly way better than what Samsung provides with their phones. Oh wait, they don't provide anything. Okay, let's put it up and start off with the display. And I do want to make sure that everything here is correct. As I'm going to be basically talking about the specifications, and I am looking at GSM Arena as the site where they list everything, as they are really good when it comes down to this. I'm just making sure that this is the same phone as it has a bit of a different image, but it honestly seems like it is. 6.9, 90 hertz. Okay, never mind. It's it seems like they have a bit of a different device listed here. Oh, I think I figured out what the problem is. There is a 4G version and non-4G. Okay, so this is the 4G device, which isn't listed anywhere that there is any difference between them. There is, I guess, in how they look like and also their specifications. That's a great marketing. Scam your customers with a crappier device just because it has only 4G connectivity. And both of the devices are named basically the same, A75 Blade. Just one is less capable than the other one. So this one is the crappier one, the cheaper one. And cheaper, I mean, it costs about $100. Now for $100, you get a 6.6 inch 720 by 16 12 pixel IPS display running at 90 Hz refresh rate with full 84% screen to body ratio and 267 pixels per inch. Now, at the back we have what looks to be a dual camera setup, but I already doubt it. And yep, I'll be very correct about that one. So the main sensor here apparently is a 50 megapixel f1.8 aperture wide sensor, which you can shoot videos at 1080p at 30 frames. And then at the front we have an 8 megapixel selfie. Now, moving on into the internals, we have a 5000 mAh battery with 23 watts of charging speed, which is pretty good. 4 gigabytes of RAM. Not the 8 that it's listed right here. That's just bullshit. And I will take my opportunity to crap on this bullshit. Just what I could only consider absolutely illegal malpractice of literally misleading and scamming your consumers, as 128 gigabytes is your storage, which the storage here is eMMC 5.1. And you got two options actually, 128 and 256, both options coming with the 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, none of them have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, RAM is a random access memory. It's named RAM because it serves a specific function. Just like an eMMC storage type serves a specific function. The storage is done, it's made to store data. It's there to keep them for long periods of time, not degrade and stuff like that. RAM, on the other hand side, is designed to store data that will be accessed very rapidly, and it's going to flash it after some time just because it doesn't need it. It's not there, the 4 gigs isn't there to store the data, it's just to have quick access to anything that needs to be accessed quickly while application is running. When the application is closed, the data gets completely removed from RAM because it doesn't need to be there. When you play games, for instance, on your phone or PC, when you have decent, for instance, specifications, but your device or game starts stuttering, it's usually, the stutters are caused by insufficient, in this case, VRAM, which is basically the same premise. Game has too big of textures, and it needs to get rid of some of textures to load the new one, and then it tries to quickly access it. So that's basically what RAM is used for, and storage is used to store data. So when it comes down to this kind of explanation, when converting storage into RAM, you don't get the same kind of performance. If we did, on PC we could be having terabytes of RAM at much cheaper prices, but instead I needed to pay $200 plus for 32 gigs of RAM, while I could have bought 2 terabytes of NVMe and have the same experience, but I didn't because no one does that, because it doesn't work like that, because that would basically make the game stutter more. Even though we have, well, more storage, it's just going to be crappier because that storage is significantly slower compared to what RAM is doing. And additionally, you also get degradation of storage from basically constantly using it, like putting data on and removing it, which I'm pretty sure is also going to affect phones as well. So now, with that out of the way, 5 minutes of explanation of hardware tech. You are now well versed into knowing that you're getting scammed with 4+4. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move over to furthermore into the internals. So we have a Unisec T606 processor in here that is powering this device. And additionally, outside of the 128 or 256 gigs of storage, you do have expandable storage using a micro SD card if you want to, which is a dedicated spot. That means that you can have 2 SIM cards and 1 SD card. And just to kind of showcase this, just pop it out. No, that's not gonna fit in there. That's what she said. There we go. So you can see 2 dedicated SIM spots and 1 SD card. That's pretty good in terms of expandability. Now, when it comes down to the build quality of this, it's primarily plastic, so plastic back, plastic frame. At the bottom we have our headphone jack, Type-C charging port, speakers. At the top we have nothing. On the left side, the tray, and on the right side our power button, which I believe actually doubles, I think, as a fingerprint sensor. Let's see, does it? says side mounted, so I think it does, and then our volume rockers. And that's about everything that there is to the device. Now, I do want to point out that this is going to be a very cheap device, coming at about, like I said, $100. So it's not going to break your bank, but to be completely honest, I'm in the group of people that would prefer to spend a little bit more, and that's what I would recommend everyone to do when buying a phone, as the very budget devices aren't the best value actually. So even though you get to save money, you don't get to save your patience. So when it comes down to best value for your money, I consider this to be like entry to mid-range category. And one of the best phones at that category at the moment is going to be the CMF Phone 1 from Nothing. This is going to basically completely trash whatever this phone is offering, deliver more than double, as it does cost $200 instead of the $100, though it actually might be even cheaper depending on where you buy it. I've seen it as low as I think like what is it, $170. I think that was the cheapest I've seen it. So about $70 more, but you get something that is going to completely blow this phone out of the water in terms of performance, quality, the display. So AMOLED, 120, better resolution, bigger battery, faster charging, faster processor. So everything is going to be improved massively, and we're not talking about double the improvement, we're talking about like more than that by just wide margin. So I recommend going for, if you have that option, for something that costs a bit more, and not actually go for the very, very budget devices like these ones, as these you pay, well, $100 might not be too much, but the device is going to underperform massively. And this is kind of, I would say, probably why a lot of people like Apple, I think, because when your experience is buying phone like this for $100 and then your provider gives you this kind of phone, you start using it and it just feels bad, it just runs slow. And then you have the Apple, the cheapest Apple that you can get, and it always runs good no matter what you do. It's going to be significantly more, but when you're looking at Android runs like this, Apple runs like this, you have this kind of misguided comparison, thinking that every Android will be this crap. They're not. My 5-year-old phone still runs significantly better than what this does. Yeah, it is already a super dated device. So like I said, I highly recommend going for like something that is beginning of like mid-range categories, as this will give you a phone that runs significantly better and lasts you also longer, which is also going to mean a lot in terms of value for your money, because if you're gonna upgrade this one next year, did you really save money? So anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.